Do they encourage members to spy on one another?
I suppose accountability. I don't know the word spy. I don't think that's a fair word. I think maybe do they encourage us to be accountable to one another? I think so. I think Matthew 18 says that if you see a brother in fault, to go to him one-on-one. But this idea of telling on one another, again, this happens in if I'm playing loud music, my neighbor who supposedly loves me will, I'm sure, be happy to report me to HOA. So again, not a huge sacrifice for me. In fact, I hope they do. If I'm in wrong, come to me out of love, restore me with gentleness and meekness, because if it's for my betterment, fine. But if they say that they just don't like the way I'm tying my shoes, I might even say, you know what? Show me a better way. I don't care. I'll go barefoot for a day for all I care. How about a pair of sandals?
Okay. Do they believe in new revelation?
I suppose it's possible. The Bible says that prophets are subject to prophets. So if they're coming with a new teaching, I'll hear it. But again, I guarantee you that people that go there, that live there, I bet you like you take the average Presbyterian, Pentecostal, Presbyterian, whatever church, and you say, what is Calvinism? They're going to go, I've heard the word tulip, but that's about all I know. So I know that as far as 12 tribes, there's a lot of people there that are visitors, that are new members, that have been members. They probably don't even know. And I don't see a hard pressure on, there's no test. So is there a new revelation? Maybe.
Do they hide their leaders' false prophecies and or immoral behavior?
Again, I don't know what his are. Maybe. I hope that they hide mine. I have a past like anybody else. Not really, but if I have a past, I hope that it's not the subject of debate for the rest of my life. I know that's how the world works. A lot of the videos on the 12 tribes are like photos of two guys like in the 80s. They talk about kids being taken away from a community like decades ago. So I would really like to move on. What's interesting is I looked into the pastor of the local church, American Baptist Church, and they had a guest speaker, and I just happened to notice he had an Instagram. So I went onto his Instagram, and he had, like pictures of alcohol and, other things that maybe aren't what the church would want him to have. But if we go into dissecting everybody and what they're doing, we're going to find fault with anybody. In fact, what's interesting about that is a lot of the ex-members, and I'm talking about the ones that are passionate, that have websites dedicated, Facebook pages. Like I work in a computer environment, so I know how to go to someone's Google Plus page and look at what videos they've watched. And what's interesting is one of the interactions I had with a guy named David, who is an ex-member. I said, so you're concerned about the safety of their children, but based on your history, my children aren't safe with you either. Now, of course, that blew up because I think it's easy to point the finger and say, well, they spanked their kids, but please don't look at my internet search history. And I don't know if that's a fair thing. Now, if the leader, Spriggs, someday he's going to die. And the community's going to go on. So I don't really care about Spriggs. I think he's like in France or something. I don't care. No different than I care about the pastor of a church. He's just a man. I care about Jesus, or in their case, Yeshua. And again, if I feel like they're asking me to do something that's compromising, I would hope that any man or woman would have enough courage and faith in God to stand. Because if they don't, and if they're the kind of person that falls under the control of someone telling them to do something, no different than people who fall into any type of, like people who are obsessed in sports and follow their sports heroes or follow their self-help guru. The kind of person that's going to fall for a cult is the same kind of person that might fall for some other kind of message. So